police tried to steal television sets of the church. We have these details of these stories and many more, including business and international. Do stay with us. Welcome to the program. Now, the quest to rid the country of filth by successive governments has seen little or no results. Filth has become the bane of many an assembly, and the AMA is worst hit. One of Accra's major market centers, the Kaneshie Market, is swimming in filth, flies and pungent smell, the result of poor sanitation management. This situation is threatening the health of not only the traders, but consumers who conduct business there.
Here has turned into a community dumping site. It has become one of our daily headache, one of our biggest problems.
The Kaneshie Market is a trading center in Kaneshie, Accra. It was built in the 1970s. The name Kaneshie means under the lamp, referring to its beginning as a night market. During the 2015 Accra floods, the market was submerged and operations were forced to shut down. But bouncing back to its former glory has become somewhat of a challenge. Filth here, filth there, filth everywhere. It is quite common to walk into the market center and be welcomed by a fugitive smell, but it becomes irritating when the nauseating smell is unbearable. And oftentimes than not, this putrid stench emanates from the decomposed and compiled waste that sits within the market unattended to. Now, if this disturbing development is anything to go by, then one can clearly state that the Special Sanitation Committee inaugurated in 2017 by the Accra Municipal Assembly to rid the market and business enclave of filth has woefully failed. The market used to have its dump site at Awudome Township until some disgruntled residents objected to its location without an iota of reason. After an extensive dialogue, the AMA agreed to resettle the dump site within the market temporarily. Waste bins from a contracted waste management team were provided until a permanent dump site is allocated. The AMA ran into debt with the waste company. An initial agreement to pay 30,000 Ghana cedis annually was increased by the waste company, and the AMA could not meet this new obligation. It therefore abrogated the contract according to the source and left the Kaneshie Market open to indiscriminate dumping. An arm away from my cameraman and I is this decomposed waste, and to say the stench is overpowering is an understatement. Deputy Managing Director of the Accra Marketing Limited, Kaneshie Asare Ampene, speaking to GH1 News, lamented the frustration they contend with to resolve this insanitary challenge.
Trying to confront it head on is that we just have to ensure that the sprawling spillover of the refuse does not just cover almost the whole market, and our own staff are always at post to confine them within reasonable area, but it within a short time turn into a heap of mountain because everybody within the neighborhood comes here to dump the rubbish.
Management of the Kaneshie Market tried to explain away the heaps and heaps of refuse that dot the market daily. They claim the waste is as a result of residents around the market and commuters who secretly dump the refuse in the wee hours of the day. The AMA has tried to replace the old waste company that served the Kaneshie Market. Problem is, this new one is simply not up to the task. The amount of filth at Kaneshie Market is indicative of this fact, and the Executive Secretary of the Environmental Service Providers Association, Ama Ofori Entry, could not dispute how poorly some of the waste management companies discharge their duties. Ama, in an explanation, bluntly said some of the waste companies are poorly resourced.
The onus lies on that municipality to ensure that its solid waste, liquid waste, whatever waste is managed and managed properly. They have a responsibility to ensure that they provide the basic infrastructures, which include, especially for the city, we want the city to be clean. We need transfer stations, we need holding points where we could keep the waste. We need a sorting centers, we need the waste disposal facilities.
Consumers who shop from Kaneshie have only two choices: ignore the unbearable stench and buy from Ghana's biggest market, or look for an alternative shopping center. But Kaneshie, as the biggest market, boasts of everything. All and any food item can be purchased from here, even including those who come to buy to unworthily sell. The amount of filth in the market equaled the amount of filth on the foodstuffs, and it was sad to see that the market women had to sit in the filth, be overpowered by the stench all day as they sell, and worst of all, eat in that. According to the Environmental Health and Sanitation Directorate of the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, poor sanitation cost the country $290 million annually. This cost is calculated in terms of deaths from poor sanitation, exposure to preventable diseases, and time spent looking for water and sanitary services. We could not reach the AMA in our efforts to put this report together. The AMA also has not availed itself to comment on the disturbing filth situation at the Kaneshie market. However, some sanitation analysts are of the view that Ghana has failed to tap into over 100 policies, strategies and guidelines over water and sanitation, which potentially could have kept the country clean. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Sanitation, Water and Resources, Joseph Kofi Adda, announced that the sector ministry has abandoned the previous strategic plans meant for tackling sanitation-related issues. A new $3 million initiative known as the Integrated Urban Environmental Sanitation Master Plan is now to take care of all our sanitation problems. Joshua Nana Kwame Ayura reporting.
Now, ahead of the independence anniversary tomorrow, the AMA, the Ministry of Sanitation and Zoom Lion have taken to the streets to ensure choked gutters and street corners are spotless. Imelda J followed the team and filed this report.
The exercise, which started at 6 a.m., saw the motorway and other areas being cleaned up. Members of the public were conspicuously missing, though they are part of the insanitary problem the country faces. And also, the exercise only had staff of Zoom Lion, the AMA, and some few volunteers participating. Mayor of Accra, Mohamed Ajay Soa, said they will introduce an effective public education program that will stimulate attitudinal and revive communal interest in the public.
We are retooling our waste management department to be able to do some of these things. But again, some of the issues are also admittedly far bigger than arts. For instance, we've come here, you've seen these open drains. I am aware that the Ministry of Works and Housing is working on these open drains because it's very important that all these open drains are covered so that the issue about flooding in this area will be stopped. We are expecting each and every city dweller to play his part.
He said the assembly will deploy tricycles to various areas to help get rid of filth in the environment. Kofi Adda, Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, pleaded with the public to join the sanitation drive to keep Ghana clean.
This exercise should be happening in every regional capital, in every district capital as we speak today. It is what we intend to continue every day, because the president said that you don't need one day for sanitation. It has to be an everyday exercise. So every day is sanitation day. We produce garbage every day, and so we should be responsible for cleaning up, collecting the waste, disposing of it every day.
Said the private sector is ready to partner the government to ensure good sanitation.
We've got partners here. We have the government agencies, we've got the private sector, all willing to support. You can see from our t-shirts that we're looking to clean Ghana. But we stated in there that everybody has to play their parts. You, the press, us individuals, us as government officials must all play our part respectively to ensure that we clean Ghana.
Individuals who are found breaking the law will be arrested and prosecuted, according to the minister.
Let's go to the Eastern region, where a student of Ofori-Penyin Senior High School has been killed by a thunderstrike Sunday evening. One other student has been injured and hospitalized at Kukrantumi Community Hospital, while the body of the deceased deposited same. Details about the accident and the deceased are not immediately known, as management of the school are tight-lipped. However, information gathered indicates that the deceased and the injured were part of students who were on their way to a fellowship in the school. Most parts of the Eastern region experienced rainstorm amidst lightning Sunday evening around 5 p.m. Let's go over the phone and speak with our Eastern regional correspondent, Kojo Ansah. Hello, Kojo. Thank you for joining us. What more can you tell us?
Okay, so it's a very sad incident here at Ofori-Penyin Senior High School in the Eastern region. As we speak, I've been in the school for the past 6 minutes to get further details about this incident. But officials or authorities of the school are not forthcoming with information. However, what I've been able to gather is that this student was walking through the rain yesterday in the evening around 6 p.m. With another colleague to fellowship at his school when the incident happened, and he collapsed and was rushed to the Kukrantumi Community Hospital, where I've been here till now, and it has been confirmed that indeed he has passed away. The other colleague is in critical condition as we speak. So officials of the school, they are visiting the hospital this morning together with family members of the deceased person. So that is the little information that I've gathered. The details about the identity of this particular student are not yet known because school authorities are reluctant to give that information out.
But we cannot even tell viewers what the gender of these students are.
What I do know from some of the students I spoke with this morning is that all the two students are male. They are male students, but we yet to get the details, their names, and the class that in which they were. So that is what we wait. I'm waiting also to speak officially to the doctor in charge of this facility, but I've been told by some of the nurses, and they have confirmed the incident.
All right, thank you very much. Kojo Ansah is our Eastern Regional Correspondent. We'll be following up on the story and bringing you updates in our subsequent bulletins. But back here in Accra, Parliament passed the Legal Profession Regulations 2018. The approval of the LI seeking to regulate admissions into the Ghana Law School was, however, not without controversy and protests on the floor.
Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, an ardent opponent to the LI, led his charges to protest the decision by Speaker to rule in favor of the proponents of the law. The report of the subsidiary legislation was put to a voice vote, contrary to earlier stance by Muntaka Mubarak that he will push for a secret ballot. Before the voting, however, MPs took turns to debate the report presented by Chairman of the committee, Mahama Yariga, amidst boos and jeers.
The committee came to a conclusion that the LI should be adopted by this House. The Speaker, I rise to second the motion that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation on the Legal Profession, Professional and Post-Law Post Regulations 2018, LI 2355. In this house is that you cannot cure the ills in the substantive act through subsidiary legislation. We believe, some of us believe that there must be open access to the law schools. This is a fault line in the primary legislation. But using subsidiary legislation to cure this, Mr. Speaker, is not the right way to go. There is a much bigger solution than this current LI before the House. And all that this LI seeks to do is to abridge and provide an interim solution to enable the Ghana Law School function until this House, this same House, is presented with that bill and do due diligence to it to enable the full government of the solution to be delivered to prospective law applicants.
Speaker Professor Michael Quay consequently put the LI to a voice vote and ruled those in favor had defeated those against, to the dissatisfaction of even some majority members.
Any particular statement which is tantamount to running a commentary or debating is entitled to object, and that objection will be upheld, and then the member who is presenting the report will have to move away from that treacherous pathway. So, Honorable, you may continue until specifically any member tells us this is not a report, therefore you are moving off tangent.
Then the protest started when the Aswanse MP stood up for a while without being recognized by the Speaker. Speaking after proceedings, Muntaka Mubarak once again accused the Speaker of bias.
That when we were voting for 4 years back to 3 years, when he knew that the House, they didn't have the number, but he wanted it to be a record of the House, that when this thing came, this is what happened. That is why sometimes you call for the vote. And he deliberately just refused to see any of us. I think the way he's behaving, I think that all of us need to be very concerned and very worried about the way Speaker is conducting himself.
Speaking to GH1 News, Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu, however, argued due process was followed in arriving at the final decision. He explained, even if the LI was put to a secret ballot, it would have amounted to nothing, given the number in the chamber.
The report that came before us by the chairman insisted that it was a unanimous decision to approve of the report. It means that not a single one of them abstained or did not vote for the report. And it came to Parliament. You could see before the report that some people had told themselves that they were gathering some signatures to oppose it. However, the Subsidiary Legislation Committee that is chaired by the Honorable Ayariga, from the minority, has members from both sides.
The leadership of the law students who were present in Parliament registered their displeasure about the conduct of the Speaker. President of the...
Joining me on the phone is the president of the concerned law students, Ken Ado Donko. Good morning, Ken, and thank you for joining us. What is your next line of action now that the LI has been passed?
Good morning, and good morning to your cherished viewers. Yes, the next line of action is we are in talk with our legal, person, and so we'll be meeting today and look at the next step. We'll surely be going to court, the seek redress in court, because what happened in Parliament on Friday, to us, it's a sad day for Ghana. And that shouldn't happen, because we practice in democracy, and we thought that democracy is about the involvement of everybody. Everybody must be heard, And when you look at what the Speaker of Parliament did the last time, that is not the path of democracy. And so for us, yes, they have finished with their part of the game. I think they are subject to the direction of the Supreme Court. So we'll be heading to Supreme Court again.
All right, thank you very much. Ken Ado Donko is the president of the Concerned Law Students. And so when they meet with their lawyers, we'll let you know what comes out of that meeting. Let's do some other stories. It has become a daunting task securing decent accommodation in the capital city, Accra, as property owners charge high rent fees. Tenants are forced to cough up 2 years' rent advance, a situation which flouts the Rent Act. Nabil Ahmed Rufai reports that Ghana's housing policy has not done much in salvaging the situation, thus pushing people to sleep in the open with their disregard to security and health.
John Terry and his brother have a reason to while away time in their sitting room today. Acquiring this 4-bedroom apartment did not come easy.
Anytime we wake up, we do the searching like the whole day. Then we stayed house in Tema for almost 2 to 3 months. We couldn't get those ones we got were really expensive. And the young guys, from university working less than 1 year, why do you, go raising that money to pay for a year or two? And most of the houses we got to, they were just interested in 2 years. None of them was ready to take 1 year.
In Ghana, many urban dwellers strive to acquire decent accommodation and have to battle high rent charges, some of which are even priced in dollars. The struggle to have a place to call home is an unending one.
We call the agents, they come over, we meet them. They are just interested in the 70 their percentage. We give it to them, they don't fast track it. The moment you pay, hallelujah, they are cool to go. You call them and they, I'll get it for you. You call them and they switch off, they won't pick up your call.
So for agents who try to help out in the search for rooms, it always has to come at a fee. And even that, the frustration is immense.
We want the prices to be down, but because government doesn't control the rent system, we find it difficult, very, very, very difficult. Everybody calls price he or she wants, any price. You will see somebody paying single supplement 150 Ghana. You see somebody paying 200 Ghana. You see somebody paying 250 Ghana. You see somebody paying 300 up to 700 Ghana.
Ghana's housing deficit is almost hitting 2 million. Hundreds of new homes spring up at new sites as the real estate business booms, but the huge cost forces people to settle in slums. For many city dwellers, the inability to acquire decent accommodation is not as a result of shortage of houses, but its affordability. Here in this estate, many of the houses are empty because people cannot pay $50,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Developers say the high cost is as a result of expensive land and building materials. The housing sector is unregulated. Hence, tenants have no choice than to pay cutthroat rent charged by landlords. The houses put up by developers are also expensive and sold in dollars, out of the reach of a lower or middle income earner, with a minimum age of a little over $2.
No private sector can help anybody at the lower end. It has to be government. And this happens everywhere around the world. I mean, society realizes that these vulnerable people, we need them. And so we have to make room for their survival. So when it comes to housing,
we'll bring you the full report on a subsequent bulletin. Now, the International Central Gospel Church Calvary Temple in Sakumono on the Spintex Road is a victim of the recent spate of armed robbery attacks. 5 robbers attempted stealing from the church Sunday dawn at about 2 a.m.
At around 2 a.m. Sunday, 5 robbers who were in a branded church attire while posing as church workers used the back door of the church to enter into the auditorium to steal 3 75-inch plasma televisions worth 15,000 cedis each, which is used for projection during church activities. The robbers, however, absconded in the course of the operation upon hearing the sirens from a police team on patrol around the environs. According to some church workers, one of the television they tried stealing dropped and crashed in the process. Officials of the church did not avail themselves for an interview on the situation. We then visited the Sakumono police station for further information regarding an official report on the incident, but officials say none has been reported to them. It is, however, not confirmed yet if there has been an arrest.
Let's do some international news now. South Africa says it has finally traced the source of a listeria outbreak that has killed 180 people in the past year. The source is a factory operated by Enterprise Foods in Polokwane in Limpopo. More facilities are being tested to see if they contributed to the outbreak, which infected almost 1,000 people. The health minister warned cross-contamination of other processed meats could have occurred in shops. The listeria bacteria is hard to test for as it is not homogeneously distributed in food. It can also hide away in cracks or niches in factories. Consumers who stored recalled products in their fridges should disinfect them with diluted bleach. Let's bring you our weather update before we go. That's it for us here for GH Today News. My name is Sewa Mia. Thank you very much for watching. But the show continues with Beiswa and Kafuide.